Good evening and welcome to Reflection Tonight. We look into being black in Coventry in the 1980s with no black in the Union Jack. It contains adult themes and bad language. Chantel Rogers, custodial care officer and musician.
Well, Mum came over from Jamaica back in the 60s. Previously, she'd been living in Hong Kong, Kowloon, and she was at an army base, her and my godmother. So, from Jamaica, they went to Kowloon, which is in China. Then they came to England. Met my dad, obviously had me. They only were together for a few months, as I know. And then she met my stepfather and he raised me, and they're still together now. Dad was a long-distance lorry driver. Mum worked at the GEC for about 30 plus years, like most people's mums did. And then at home, it was just me, my younger brother. He was 5 years younger than me. And then up the road, I had about 5 brothers and 4 sisters. So it was a bit of a weird one as well, because my real dad was up the road with the stepmom and a big massive family. And I mean, when I say up the road, you literally could get there within 2 seconds. And then it was us 4 down the bottom of the road. So that's how family life was. But weird yet again, because we all got on together. So I had 2 mums and I had 2 dads. So that was a bit of a weird one as well, you know.
Tony Ford, master carpenter, explains.
By the time I was 9, it was just me, my dad, my sister and my brother. That was it. And it was just living, just getting through. Dad worked at Talbot, a car factory. No, not most people worked in the car factories. Just tried to maintain the best he could. Family, mum and dad are from Jamaica, or Kingston.
Me, M.C Man Parris. My parents, they are from Barbados, and they came over in the 60s when the UK was advertising for lorry drivers and nurses, and that is where my mum and dad came in, because my mum was a nurse and my dad was a lorry driver. So they came over and they were housed in Wood End, which was the first it was the first council estate in the UK. So yeah, that's where they put all the immigrants, really, Irish, you name it, they were put there. And I think that's when I kind of remember the first kind of racial bit, because I remember my dad saying that he got spat on when he was pushing me, in the pushchair and stuff like that. And that's why they moved on to Bell Green area, and it was a bit better there. Ray Reid, youth worker, youth offending services, looks back.
Family first came to Coventry in the early 60s. I was born in 1964 in Hillfield. My family moved to Stoke, then Wykin, bought our first house. Growing up in Hillfields was quite, I can't really remember it, but I do remember it was a predominantly Asian and Afro-Caribbean area. When we first went, I said we lived in Stoke, but it was Stoke Heath, an area called Hillside, Valley Road, and we had lots of problems there with gangs of youths. I couldn't walk down the road or take the shortcuts through the entry because I'd have stones thrown at me, or people would. One particular lad took delight in targeting me. So things like that, I just started to put it down to personality, not just to racism.
Owen Wint, fitness consultant, describes.
It was ridiculous. I remember at the age of 7, when I first discovered what racism was, even though I had no idea, I thought I was just a normal boy growing up, didn't look at colour, didn't even think about colour. And I was walking along this road with my brother Robert, and some guy comes out of his house. "Oh, you black bastard, you nigger. Go back to where you came from." Well, I didn't know what black bastard was. I didn't know what nigger was. So I dropped off to my dad. Dad, what's nigger? What's black bastard? You know? And my dad didn't even really want to get into it, but he did tell us what you know, these people are ignorant, such and such, and, you know, pay no mind to them, like turn the other cheek. But that didn't really take. As you started growing up and realising that you are different, only through skin colour, you're not different as a person, you're different because of your skin colour, that life is going to be slightly different for you.
Probably didn't know that I was black or any colour at that age. It didn't really mean a lot to me. Not until probably at school, when got called a few names and ran back home to mum and saying, what's one of these and when am I going to turn white? I think that was around that time when I was, you know, kind of, what am I? So it was a confusing time, but it wasn't a big thing. William Grant, Openreach engineer, describes...
I suppose my first recollection of being some sort of racism, I was on the bus and I was actually going to some music lessons that my dad paid for. I used to go there on a Tuesday, so I had to catch the bus and go from Bell Green to Sewell Highway, Dennis Road, and I think I was about 11, and I was on the bus, and I come off the bus to walk home, and this police car pulled up, and he goes, "Oi, you!" And I carried on walking. He goes, "Oi!" And I turned around and looked. He goes, "You, come here!" And I was like, "I ain't done anything. What does he want me for?" And he goes, I says, "Yeah, what's the problem?" He says, "The next time you guys cause any trouble, I'm going to kick your black ass." I says, what trouble's that? He goes, "You know." I said, "Listen, mate, I've just come off the bus. Here's my bus ticket. I've just come off the bus. I don't care what you've got. You know what I'm talking about." And I was thinking, this guy does not want to listen to me. He made his own decision that I was involved in something that went on in there, and he wasn't even listening to me. Do you know what I mean? I had proof that I didn't know what went on, and then I think about 3 or 4 days later, I found out there was some trouble with some black guys in there about 15-20 minutes before I got there. And then they blamed me that I was, you know, I knew something about it. And I was thinking, how come he didn't want to listen to me? How come, you know? And then that's sort of my first recollection.
I'll never forget it. There's a guy knocked my door and said he'd come to fight me. And then my dad said, "Oh, go outside and beat him. If you don't beat him, don't come back inside here because you won't get no dinner." So you just had to go outside and fight for your food. Hey, if you didn't win, you didn't win. Hey, somebody beat on my brother and sent him home. My dad would send me out to go and beat them up. Hey, it was a lot for me.
Because like I said, I had older brothers and I seen it with them. The kind of trying to fit in but not fitting in, or the being around a group of white lads and then they'd drop that little joke, because back then it was, you know, the gollywog on the jar. Just little, you know, but, you know, I'm only joking, mate. You know, I'm only joking, mate. The pat on the back and all stuff like that. And actually seeing my brothers laugh it off, which was, but remember, I was young, so I didn't quite understand it. Then going to senior school, that's when I experienced racism. I experienced racism, to be fair, from teachers. They made me feel like I didn't fit in. For instance, I actually got suspended from school for having plaits in my hair with beads on the end, right? And the plaits used to fall kind of forward in my face. And my teacher said I'd need to take them out because it would, I wouldn't be able to learn anything. So I was like, I don't understand what you're saying, because it really, really shocked me. And he was like, "No, you need to go home, ask your mum to remove the plaits from your hair because they are dangling in front of your face." And I thought to myself, well, you know, there's many, many white girls and Asian girls who have got fringes falling in their face all the time. So I kind of spoke back at him, and then I got a suspension from school for that. That was my first, so that was from a teacher. It was took me aback. My second experience of racism was just an older girl who just did not like me. For what reason? Haven't got a clue, just did not like me. And I don't know, if you remember back in the day, it was like, I'm offering you out. So that's what she did. Didn't want to fight, I just weren't it. I wasn't like that, but you know, and then she just kept prodding and prodding, so I thought, okay, let's put an end to it. So we did. Ended up fighting, being called a black bitch, this, that, you nigger, you that, you this. Yeah, but let's put it this way, I walked out of that all right. And she didn't. So, yeah, racism at school, it was there, you could see it. I just tried to keep away from certain things. And I think especially after that fight, people knew just, let's not go there. It's not that time.
Because he was a Christian man, was saying, you turn the blind eye to people. It was basically, it's not turn the other cheek, because it wasn't turn the... He was saying, ignore them. You know, they're going to call you names. It's going to be this. He explained what they were, but it was like, we're living here, you sort of have to ignore it and carry on. You're the bigger person if you ignore it and carry on. Whereas my brother Clive, he wasn't having none of that. My brother Clive taught me how to fight. He taught me how to stand up for myself, because I'm very soft. I was very soft when I was younger. He used to get me in the back room, and this is when my dad was at work. He used to invite his friends in. I'm just thinking, my brother Clive was 3 years older than me, and his friends were 3 years older than me. So he used to bring them in one at a time and say, fight. That was it. Fight. And they'd be steaming into me, and I didn't want to fight. But I got this one good hit. He hurt me. And that was it. I thought, I'm just going to get a pound in here if I don't fight back. So I started fighting back. And I mean fight, and it was proper fighting. It wasn't no little play. It was kick, punch, punch, until he seen I was commanding my space and holding my own against people what 3 years older than me. So once he could see I was commanding my area and I can fight back, he would then stop it and bring his next friend in to fight. And that taught me how to stand up for myself, how to be strong, you know, and not back down, because I was scared. Obviously, I was scared to get hurt. Still am now. That's what makes me such a good fighter now, I suppose. I don't want to get hurt.
To be honest with you, when my dad, all of us were really scared of our dad. So we found it really hard to try and talk to him about anything, right? Because he was the head of the house. He was the disciplinarian, and he used to go out to work, different shifts. So like we were all petrified of him. He was a big bloke. He was a lot bigger than me, and was too scared to ask him about anything. So because I was the youngest, I always used to go to my brother or sister, and then they used to tell me how to handle certain circumstances. For example, so if I said, look, I'm at school and this kid was calling me a black bastard, what should I do? And my brother or my sister say, listen, you got to stand up for yourself. If you don't stand up for yourself, they're going to walk all over you. So at an early age, when I talked to them, I had to learn how to fight. So because I was always relatively big for my size, I used to just run and swing, and then I thought, right, okay. I used to like watching boxing, so I asked my dad if I could go. I wanted to go judo first, but because my mum was a nurse, she used to have cases where people got thrown in judo and split their head open. So she was saying you can do anything but judo. So I started off actually doing full contact Shotokan karate on the Longford Road at the is it called the Billiard Hall? I used to do that first, so I did that for several years, and then I progressed from then. I got fed up of that, and then I went to do boxing at Bell Green Boxing Club, and then I moved on to Cov Boys, and I think learning some sort of martial arts self-defense gave me a little bit more confidence that I could handle myself in any situation, and I wasn't using it as a bully, but I knew if it came down to it, I knew what to do. And that was it. And also because, like I said, I had a brother at school, sister at school, people knew my brother was a fighter because he experienced a lot more than me, because he's the one that was guiding and teaching me, and he would not put up with any shit. And if I had any problems, I'd go to him. But he was saying to me, look, you're going to have to sort this out. I'm there if you need me, but, don't come to me. I've got my own problems. And he told me I had to defend myself. So that's how it was. And I remember even my sister, she had to fight as well. And like I said, whatever we did, we couldn't go back home and talk to my mum or dad, because we were just petrified of them. So we had to just survive.
But I could look after myself. It was me and my three sisters, and so I mean, you had to be able to. If somebody came up to you at school, I mean, there's myself, there's one other West Indian lad at Ravensdale, 4 other Asian lads, and so it was always a case of, if somebody said something to you, fighting wasn't frowned on back then. You had to, and I come from a culture like where my stepdad would say, like, if anybody said, you couldn't go home moaning about that somebody been picking on you. You were expected to actually go and sort it out, and that meant sorting it out with your fists. And I wouldn't say I'm a natural fighter or somebody who likes fighting, but it's something I think I learned quite early from an early age, that if somebody said something to you, that you had to settle it with your fist. Like,
I know it was around. I know they used to have names like, Wog and stuff like that, and it weren't until later on till I realised what it was, and I used to ask what that meant, and people used to say to me, it's a Western Oriental gentleman, and I think, well, that's all right, isn't it? So very naive, but I suppose my parents wasn't, because, I was born into the UK, so, I'm not seeing it like how they said it. I think my mum and dad had it hard, because my dad had to toughen up. He did karate, self-defence and stuff like that. And it all kind of falls into place now why he was doing that, And if I ever got into trouble, my mum would move house. And we moved quite a few times because I got into quite a bit of trouble. So, yeah. But it weren't until later on till I actually experienced segregation of groups.
Like, my next door neighbour was a white dude. That was my best friend. We used to hang out the window and talk at night time, being told off, because our bedrooms were right next door to each other. Hey, and some of the ones that lived in Starchel used to go around there. I had a girlfriend from Canley. Right, remember her? Annabelle. Thought it was really good. She lived in Cali, went to her house, knocked on her door. I was like, and his dad answered the door. He goes, yeah, what do you want? He's like, is Annabelle there, please? He's turned around and gone, Annabelle, there's a nigger at the door for you. And then all I heard was this other man's voice or boy's voice upstairs. What? Nigger's my door for Annabelle? And I heard his door down the stairs. I didn't even wait to see who it was. I was just gone. Never went to Canley again. Hey, stuff like that. So
sometimes I used to go shopping with my brother in town on a Saturday, and we were walking in town, and next minute some skinheads was like, "Oh, you black bastards!" And there's about 15, 16 of them, and me and him, and we were like, "What do we do? What do we do? We can't do anything really. We just have to take it and carry on walking on."
Most of the black guys were pretty good fighters because they had to be, and that's really how it was. Well, there'd be a bunch of police, up the top, and they wouldn't even look, watching you get beat up. So that's how it was. They just turned a blind eye. And that was the norm. That was how it was.
It has always been hard for us. But if we would show a sign of weakness, Mum would be on us, because she's a very, very, like I said, strong, stern woman who worked hard, long hours. And like she said, she didn't struggle. And for her, especially being at GEC as well, she had to endure racism, but she, throw that off her back. And one thing as well with my mum and us growing up, we always seen colour within the house, so that's what I liked. Mum had Asian friends, she had white friends. Do you know what I mean? And we all got on. But that was because that's the way how she made it. But when we went out of doors, obviously, you'd see it in a different light. So we were learning one thing in the home and definitely living another one outside of the home.
You get on your last bus, the 22, going to Willenhall. You go and try to sit downstairs, but downstairs is full. You were safe downstairs. Downstairs is chocker. Where do you have to go? Upstairs. So you wouldn't want to go to the back seat because all the crazy Willenhall crew were sitting on the back seat. So you go to the front thinking, thank God there's a seat up here, I can make it. So I sit down up the front. Or you could hear, and you know they're coming for you. Pump, pump, pump behind you. Sit behind you. Pulls my hair. What are you doing on this bus, nigger? And I'm not saying a word. I'm bricking it. You know what I mean? So I know there's loads of them back there. I'm not saying, I'm just keeping my head forward. And he says, pulls my head back. I said, what you doing on this bus, nigger? You know what I mean? And I'm near to tears now because I'm thinking I'm going to get japped here. You know, and I'm nearly home. You know, I'm about 2 stops away. And I think, shit, just don't say nothing. Just keep your head forward. And he flings my head back forward. He said, you need to get off this bus, nigger. You know what I mean? And look in my stop, and I'm not saying anything at the moment, just keeping my head like this. Pulls my head back again. I said, you need to get off this bus, nigger. You know what I mean? And he flings my head back forward, but my stop's coming up, thank God. You know? So it gets down, goes down, and he says, yeah, you better get off. And there's loads of them going, chanting and shouting, you know what I mean? So I get off the bus, and I run home, ran home. And my brother's there, and we're into martial arts and stuff. I ain't going to do nothing with it. I'm going to get annihilated. No martial arts is going to help me in that situation. So my brother, I gets in and I tell my brother what's going on. And another guy there called Andy Clark, I don't know if you know him, he was there. And we went round to Willenhall, Ivy Walk, trying to see these guys, because I knew where they were. Big mistake. You know, because I was angry. I'm young and angry. I want to get this guy back. So if it was one-on-one, I'd annihilate him. I would destroy him one-on-one. But I ain't going to destroy this guy when he's got all his crew on the back. Obviously, no chance. So I think I can get this guy back. Well, we snuck down into Ivory Walk. And as I go round the corner, this one guy shouts one name. And the whole of Ivory Walk comes to life. You had to run. And we never got out there. We ran and we were hitting people with our nunchakas as we were running by because they're trying to catch us. Sprinting past, whack, whack, knocking people out the way. So they're trying to stop us to get for these guys to grab us and kick the crap out of us. We just ran and I remember jumping over into this garden, hiding down. And you can see them chatting. Where are they? Where they gone? Where they gone? It's like looking for us. And we just hid in this garden. Till about half an hour later.
We knew that if we went into town, Cov Town, on a Friday night, we'd be getting a chase. It was, it was like clockwork. And we liked that excitement. So we would park the car on the outskirts, and so we got a good run to it. And we'd go around the town on a Friday and, and in no time at all, there'd be a gang after us, running, chasing us. And if one of us fell over or something, we'd have to go back and help them and we'd all get battered. And that's how it was really on a Friday. Friday night was a no-go to if you were black. I don't know about any other race, but I just knew if you were black. But I kind of knew all the kind of bad boys. It's really strange, my life, man, because that's who I attracted to. So, I knew some of them, but all the older ones, mate, they just wanted to beat the head off you. You know what I mean? So, Friday night in Coventry Town in the old days was a no-go. Or if you're going to go in, you're going to get a chase. and you're probably going to get beat up. You won't win. And that was the mentality of them days. But yeah, we all got kicking. You know, it was just a way of life. We didn't even see that as racism. We just thought they just hated us. It's real weird, because remember, we are English black guys, so you kind of refused to believe that it was because of your colour. Real weird mentality them days. It was like the last thing you'd want to think it was, for a black guy anyway. So, yeah, you just got it out of your head.
We caught the last bus to go home, and then next minute we got on the bus, we went upstairs, and I think about 20 guys circled this bus, and they came running in on the bus, and they're shouting at all the people downstairs, "Come on, you black bastards, come on, you black bastards." And it was mainly all old people downstairs. Then they ran upstairs, and they're shouting, and I thought, it's either I'm going to die fighting, or I'm going to just get beat up. So in the end, I jumped up, and I started trying to fight some of them as they were coming up the stairs. At the same time, my brother came on the bus, so my brother seen me fighting, so he started fighting as well. And then this guy, who had nothing to do with it, but knew that I never caused any issue, he jumped up, he pushed me out the way, and I thought, this is it now, I'm finished. Because I sort of fell back on the chair, and then he jumped in the way and he started fighting these guys, because he realised that we wasn't causing no issues. We were just minding our own business, and they came on, and then he's fighting them. The next minute, we seen 2 police vans pull up, and we thought, well, okay, they're going to get off now. And then the police let them run off, and then by then I was sitting down, and then the police came on, and I was just kept my head looking down, and the police goes, "Oh, you," and pulled me off the bus. And I thought, and there's one of them was like, get him in the van, and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't really done anything, but this is it now. The first thing I thought, my dad's going to kill me, because you won't believe I never caused any problems. And my brother was looking at me on the bus. They let the bus go, and my brother was looking down at me at the bus stop, and everyone was looking down, and people were shouting, ain't done anything. And one of the coppers was like, get him in the van. And I was like, this is it. And I said, why are you after me for? I ain't done anything. I said, hey. And then, I don't know why, but I said, you're not even after someone like me. You're after somebody with locks. And this inspector, because I remember the ticks on his sleeve, he looked at me and he went, yeah, sorry, mate. He says, that's your last bus, isn't you? He goes, where are you going? I said, I'm going to Balgreen. He goes, do you want a lift? And I was, no thanks, no. And then I had to walk home from town all the way home.
And it was that same pub, the Talio pub that I was telling you about. And like, you really didn't go there, but like, we did go there. And like one of my friends I was with, his girlfriend was what we call stacked. She was hot. So we've gone upstairs now because we're going to have a drink, going to dance because they play soul music. And as we've gone upstairs, I saw a glisten, like something shiny, the light hit something shiny as they're walking through. And this kid, one of the Belgian boys, got a Stanley knife and he tried to cut her in her back with a Stanley knife as she's walking through. So I grabbed him by the hand, made him drop the knife, and then it's all like kicked off and that. So they've pushed us all downstairs. Well, they've punched me in the face as I got to the stairs, pushed us all downstairs. We've gone outside. So around the back of the Talio in the car park, standing there. This was when I was about 21, 22. Standing there. And we're going outside then. So what's happening now? One geezer's come out of the crowd. I want you. I've looked around like that, but everybody's looking at me. I'm going, you want me? He's going, yeah. I'm going, why me? He's going, because when I'm going to take out the biggest nigger. When you go down, the rest of them are going to run off. Like that. Hence the fact he didn't win. Okay? Now then, he got some broken jaw, lost his tooth or something. So now then, 5 years later, I'm playing a game. And Coventry just happens to be in the same league that I'm playing in. And the game's on a Saturday. So I've come up to Coventry on the Friday night, gone to the TikTok to find my friends, to tell them there's a game on tomorrow, I'm playing, because them days I was the man. I was quite good. And but we're in the tip top. And then like it got to like about 1 o'clock. So I've decided to leave because like I've got a game in the morning, I've got a game in the evening, so I'd go home. And then back then there used to be a car park, a car showroom right next door to the club. So you come down the stairs, I needed to go toilet. I've like dipped down by this car to go toilet. And then next thing you know, I feel this bang on my head and my head starts burning. I turn around and there's a white dude with a baseball bat in his hand standing on the bonnet of a car. There's another white dude standing up with a baseball bat in his hand. And the other one said to the other, which one said it? I don't know. One said to one of the other one, hit him again, he's dazed. That's the last thing I remember. Next thing I remember is I'm by the Swanswell, I've got a bat in my hand, and I'm being thrown up against the fence by the police, and my head is pissing blood. Chasing, because apparently I was chasing some people who came out of there through the Swanswell with the bat. And then it was two white girls that told the police, no, he just got jumped over there. I think one or two of them were still over there, Sparko, that's how they got nicked. And I think they nicked another one because I was chasing them through the park, so they went after him through the park. That was it, that's what I remember. And then like after I got out of the hospital, like police were asking for a statement, not really saying much. And then they've gone, this is the police. There's a parking ticket for £50 outstanding. They're not going to put me in a cell, but I can't leave the police station until the £50 is paid. And now it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Understand? So I've got to phone and wake up in-laws and I like to get them down there to pay this stupid parking ticket before I can leave the police station.
I don't know whether I suffered racism as bad as some of my West Indian friends my black friends who tended to go up as a group, whereas I tended to go with a mixed group. There'd be black and there'd be white, and so I probably stood a better chance of getting in. But sometimes I would get the knockback, and they'd say, "Well, not tonight," and I don't suppose that's changed much now, where they don't have to give a reason, but you knew the reason why you couldn't get in. Then after a while, after they started to get to know your face and they seen that you weren't kicking off, it's almost like you had to eat humble pie. Then eventually they'd let you in. But they were good going to those clubs, getting dressed up, spending my money at places like Nickel Beasley on Allen's on a Saturday, getting a smart shirt. But it was you had to be careful going out clubbing because. That sort of clubbing, because there was gangs of lads, which I'm from Wyking, and it was quite territorial, I'd say, and it would always kick off invariably at some point. People seeing you with the wrong person. When I say the wrong person, you have to be careful if you went up talking to a white girl, that lads wouldn't get kind of upset about it and have a go at you. And people would say quite racist things in your face, saying, "Oh no," you know what I mean? Call, use the N-word and call and say that to the girl, like, what you doing talking to him. So it was quite testing. You had to psych yourself up going into a club, thinking, "Well, am I going to get any hassle?" And I don't think I actually went in those days. I think I only took a girl once to a club because it's just too stressful. Met girls in the club, but actually trying to get in as, with a white girl would be, back then you're asking for problems, and somebody would say something. And I'm not just talking about people as well in the club, like the doorman as well, because back then the doormen were a law unto themselves, like, and you just wouldn't want to say the wrong thing to them or even look at them the wrong way.
Park Lane on a Saturday night. A man's dream of getting in to the soul room upstairs. Downstairs was normal nightclub. Upstairs always plays soul and R&B. Brilliant music if you can get into the club. So you dress up to the whole night, because in them days you got to make Michael Jackson, everything's smooth. You're dressed up to get in somewhere. You dressed up to get in, and you look smooth. You look the business. So you would go with your missus, friends, crew. Basically, you have your missus and your crew. 'Cause you know you're not getting in if it's just you and your brethren. That's a no-no. Don't want too many blackies in there to start off with. So you know if you went with your missus, you white girl, get to the door, you're not coming in. What do you mean? You just see me in the queue, queuing for an hour. What do you mean I'm not getting in? You're not getting in. Why? I don't have to give you a reason why. But I'm dressed all right. But no matter, you're not coming in. So then all of you would not be getting in. You know, it's one after the other. You would then say to your crew, all right, you didn't get in, you try and get in. Let them see, because you didn't want to spoil it for the rest of them, you not getting in. Like, every single one of us, dejected, rejected, put to the side. So then, you know, if you knew somebody, as in one of the head honchos in there, he will come down, you'll call his name, he'll come down, he's all right. He's all right. Hey? He's all right. And then they let your crew in. He's all right. And yeah, then you start to use your noodle. You would tell him when you're seeing him, come martial arts. Because these guys, I know them. You'll tell, oh, we're coming up to your club. But, oh, when you're coming, such and such. You tell them the days, when you're coming up, they'll be there, have your name on the door. He's all right, let him in. And that's what we start, and that's when people started to then go with people who knew the bouncers on the door, and they let you in. And it was only knowing the bouncers, the certain head bouncers, that you started to let you in. Even though the racist doormen on the door didn't want to let you in. It was just knowing certain bouncers that, oh, he's all right, let him go.
It would have been a hell of a lot worse, because they would have been, they'd saw you as weak, and they'd take advantage of anybody that shows weakness. I mean, so, yeah. No, they were always on it. There was no time to relax if you was here. You couldn't relax. If you relaxed, that's when they landed on you. So he was always aware. He was always ready. It's just how it had to be. Yeah. It's just how it was. That's how it was, mate. You was always ready. You didn't know when they were going to turn up, how many of them were going to turn up. Hey. You was always on your guard.
It was to be expected, because we came, my mum and dad come from, you know, a land, and so it was a surprise for them, especially the cold, and it must have been a surprise for the white people in the UK, you know, and that's what happened, the friction before the calm.
The first rave that I went to, me and a few others, got our money together. We got our tickets. I can't remember where I got the. I know because my sister had a hairdressing shop on Lower Ford Street. And to tell the truth, I can't really remember much after that, apart from swirling patterns, everybody laughing, dancing, being covered in sweat, jumping around, and then as quickly as the night began, it was morning. But because we were that wired, and this is before anybody had a mobile phone, and I don't know if anybody even thought about how we're going to get back. We just ended up walking back from Sky Blue Connection. I suppose that's kind of like a pivotal moment in my life when it comes to raving, because the people that I walked back when I'm thinking about it now were people that I'd met in the club that night. There weren't anybody that there was the two lads that I went up with as well, but it was a big group of us who had all suddenly become mates, and it was those lads that I met who started telling me about ecstasy. And when I was thinking about when I used to go clubbing before Park Lane or Mr. G's, that would never have happened. Going to a club, meeting a group of lads, and all becoming mates at the end of the night. and chatting and being friendly, being nice to you, and me having to have my guard up, thinking, you know, what are you going to say something racist to me or have a go at me? No, never happened.
Oh yeah, definitely. When it comes to the rave scene, yeah, I thought it brought a lot of people together, especially let's how we can say late 80s compared to how early 80s were to late 80s. You know, you wouldn't have everybody mixing in the early 80s as such. When the rave music came in, it was just a case of, it was like the summer of '69 again, weren't it? It was all the love and everything and the peace all came. So yeah, you did see a lot of that going on. Obviously had the one thing in common, which was the music, you know, so it was nice to see. It was nice to see. Definitely. You noticed a change in the city. You noticed a change in everybody.
Our city became massive, especially through the 90s. It was to do with the dance music. That changed the outlook for a lot of us going into clubs, because they were more into dance than you kick the blackie's head in, you kick that packy basher, you know what I mean? So it was more of the I don't know if they just more drugged up and wanted to just dance and forgot about the brackies and that. It maybe was that. Because when I used to go to some dudes, which my sister used to dance at, predominantly still white people in there. Chocker, but there was no fighting. So it was weird because there was no fighting. A lot of brackies in there. There's no kicking off. So I believe the two melt together, the drugs and the dance, was definitely.
That's when music kind of really, really hijacked me, and I just fell in love with music and thought, right, I'm going on a mission to get my own equipment and do my own gigs. Everyone was liking my music, and they were liking what I was doing with my mic. You know, I'd be doing a few raps and stuff, and I just got a lot of respect for that, and was not being seen for a black guy, but being seen as a musician. Yeah. And actually being reminded about it as well. You only, you know, if I'd be in Chelmsford or somewhere, I used to get one who used to remind me that I'm only up here because of my music, and we respect you as an MC, but you're not hard. You're not hard, mate. So, yeah, it was quite touchy like that, clicky. But that's what I had to do to get where I am today. So I didn't mind. You know, it's one of them. I was toughened, you know. So, yeah. Trainee sound engineer Katie Dowling. Sound recording and editing by Richard Smith. Final edit by Phil Noisy B. Evans. Written and produced by Adrian Patrick Dowling. Presented by Man Parris, made at Plus Radio. This is a Daylight Robbery production, 2018. Good night and God bless.